What's up guys, Mr. Bazy here, and today we're going to be talking about something that I'm personally really passionate about. I know some of you out there may or may not care about this particular topic, but it's going to be about whether or not I think that Halo will kind of rise the ranks and re-achieve its competitive standing. I mean, I'm not saying it's a game that's not worthy of competitive, or it's not as good as some of the other ones. That's not what I'm saying at all. As a matter of fact, I personally believe that as a competitive game, Halo is better than a lot of the ones that are out there right now, or at least, on par with them at the very least. And that's my personal belief. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys out there feel differently, but the point of this topic is whether or not, this Halo is going to reestablish the popularity that we once saw, in like Halo's heyday, essentially when they were very popular competitively. That's essentially Halo 2. Halo 3 was, I believe peak popularity, where Halo 2, a lot of people were kind of getting into it. They were like, oh yeah, there's competitive gaming, and then there's Halo 2, and then Halo 3, a lot of people were getting into it. And, Halo Reach, I think a lot of people really jumped on Halo Reach as a new opportunity. Everybody was going to have to get used to the game. It was a brand new kind of game. It was different. It felt different. It was fundamentally, it played different. And I think midway through Reach, the popularity started to dwindle. People realized that they didn't like it as much as the other ones. Then Halo 4 came out. Of course, MLG, or 343 decided to not partner with MLG, which was, in my personal opinion, a huge mistake in terms of the popularity of the game. I mean, MLG is the kind of epicenter. I know there's other ones like UMG and all that are very reputable. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but the reality is MLG is more wide known. They're more, they broadcast to a bigger audience, and a lot more people know about them. They've got their own broadcasting system, something I don't really know if UMG has, but naturally on their website, on MLG, they've got MLG.TV, where you can watch streamers on there and everything. They just have, in my personal opinion, a better network, a bigger fan base, and I think that's really what Halo needs, especially in today's day, where it's it's kind of like hanging on the edge of a thread in some instances, which I hate to say because I love the game, but realistically, you have to look at it like that. So, will it return to its popularity? Honestly, I think it's got a very good shot. From what I've seen so far, I think this game has a very good potential to be highly competitive and really enjoyable to watch. One of the biggest things that makes a game really popular competitively is having a good spectator experience, and I really do think that this game is going to be really fun to watch, let alone really fun to play. But from a spectator point of view, I think there's so much action-packed, stuff going on, especially with some of the new additions to kind of really speed it up a bit, like Clamber and all that stuff, especially in some instances, the fact that you don't regain your shields unless you stop running, in some ways does force you to kind of finish that battle. There are some problems that arise from that I did speak about. I'll leave that in the outro at the end if you'd like to hear about that. But, essentially, I do think that it's a very good. I think that it has a very good chance at being one of the games, one of the most popular Halos even of all time, and I really do believe that. I know it's a really bold statement, but the fact that they really kind of kickstarted it with Halo 2 Anniversary, that's been doing really well. Not really the most popular thing watched, okay, but it's definitely regained some of its popularity. Halo 2 is a fantastic game. The fact that it's being competed on once again, naturally, a lot of people are not only jumping on the on the opportunity to compete in one of their favorite Halos of all time, but they're also it's really fun to watch. Halo 2 is a very fun game to watch. This new Anniversary Edition is a fantastic remake. It's a fantastic remaster. So it's definitely going well. Okay, in the Halo scene, the foundations of Halo rising the ranks once again are in place. And so, to answer the question, again, do I think that Halo 5 will kind of reestablish the popularity that Halo once, had back in, like 07, 08, all those things. Basically when Halo 3 was essentially peak popularity. Again, people were really kind of getting into it with Halo 2. A lot of people were already into it, but, as Halo 2 ended, they were like, oh man, this is cool, competitive gaming. People were really starting to learn about competitive gaming, especially learning what MLG was as a business, as a company, as an event, what it was and what it meant. And so, Halo 3 being the peak popularity, I really do think we can reach that popularity once again. However, I think one of the strongest things, one of the biggest things that needs to happen is you know, I understand, again, I understand UMG does tournaments for it. I'm really thankful they did tournaments for it. I'm thankful that they were there for Halo 4 throughout the, you know, pretty much throughout the, somewhat the lifespan of Halo 4, you know, pretty much that first year, they were pretty strong in holding tournaments and everything, and I'm really thankful for them, and they did a great job. They definitely used an open opportunity where Halo, you know, MLG was not hosting tournaments because of the partnership with you know, 343 and, what was it, Virgin Gaming, you know, so MLG's hands were kind of tied a little bit, but UMG had free reign to do it, and they took advantage of a situation, and I'm glad they did. They kept the spirit alive. They kept a lot of Halo players playing it and competing and people watching, and it was a great experience. But I do think that you know, the competitive future of Halo 5 to regain what was lost over the years from, you know, a mixture of failed attempts and, you know, kind of letdowns in some sense. I think MLG really needs to pick up this game. I really, really hope that 343 doesn't make the same mistake and goes and partners with Virgin Gaming, because, again, nothing wrong with them, but they only held like 2 tournaments. They had that one tournament, which was, you know, that free-for-all one. Or, you know, I'm sorry, it was the one where, like, you competed. I think it was in free-for-alls, and you got to a certain rank, and then I think there was another one at some point, but, you know, essentially there was only 2 where UMG held, I mean, I don't even remember, probably like 10 plus tournaments. I mean, they held a lot. I mean, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was like UMG 8, UMG 9 or something, maybe even beyond that. All I know is they held a lot of tournaments. They really held up their end of the, they had no deal really, but they held up their end of the deal with Halo 4. They really kept it alive. You know, I understand it was a business choice to move on that opportunity, and it was a very smart one at that, but, you know, on the flip side, it really helped the community out because it kept that community, it kept the competitive community, it kept the fire kind of embering, you know what I mean? It kept it, you know, it kept it alive. So I do think it has the possibility. It has a very strong possibility, just strictly based on the gameplay. But if MLG were to actually pick it up, again, you had people streaming it on, you know, Twitch and MLG.tv. You had tournaments being held on the regular. You know, I definitely think it could return once again with a bang. The game looks pretty darn awesome, and I think it has the potential to be one of the greats of all time in terms of the Halo series as a whole. So let me know what you're thinking about this in the comments down below. Are you excited for Halo 5, and do you think that Halo 5 will have a bright competitive future? Because I really do believe that that is not only a possibility, but definitely on the horizon. So with that being said, rate the video what you think it deserved, and if you'd like to become a Sage in training, make sure you subscribe today. This has been Mr. Basie, your favorite Sage, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.